Welcome to lesson number 5, measuring angles with a protractor. So we are looking at measuring angles with a protractor. So what's the learning goal? Simply, I can measure angles with a protractor. So some people have seen these before, some haven't. So this is a protractor. So when I put definition here, what is a protractor? A protractor is a device that will measure the angle between two lines. So a protractor is going to measure the angle between two lines. So my example would be this. Here is two lines, they're connected. We want to measure the angle right here. And for our purposes this year, for our protractor, it measures angles in degrees. Oops. All right, so it measures angles in degrees. So our answers now, when we measure an angle, will be in degrees. All right, so you can see with the protractor here, it has numbers. It starts, our top numbers start at 0 and go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way around to 180. Similarly, if you look at the inside numbers, it starts at 0 on this side and goes 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way around to 180. So what it allows you to do, it allows you to it makes it easier to manipulate the protractor in order to measure the angle between. You don't have to flip it upside down. I've got a couple of examples that I'm going to demonstrate with, and then we're going to do some hands-on stuff coming up. So next page here. So measure the following. So here's my protractor. First thing I need to do is I need to put my baseline, okay, on one of the lines, baseline. So if I go back, I'm going to label it on here. All right, here's our baseline. Okay, baseline. Okay, that has to go on one of the lines. The intersection point has to go right here. Now on yours, it's going to be shaped like this. There'll be a line down the middle, but this is where the intersection point goes. The intersection, come on, or corner. All right, so if I go back to my example here, I'm going to put my baseline, so I got to rotate this a little bit so it matches up. So it's a little slower for me, be much quicker for you guys because smartboard's not always the easiest to work with. So I now have my baseline. Okay, my baseline is on one of the lines. Okay, I have the corner or the intersection of the two lines right there in the middle. So now I can read the actual angle. Now I'm starting at 0, okay, and I'm measuring along the outside here. So the angle I get is going to be measured right there. So I know it's 80 at that notch there, but I'm not quite there. If I go back, to me this angle looks like it's about equal to 78 degrees. So 78 degrees. So I measured and I read it right there. All right. I'll move that out of the way. Okay. Now this one I've got to rotate it upside down, so you are going to have to spin these protractors around from time to time. All right. I need to line my baseline up. So I'll see if I can get it lined up a little bit better. Not bad. Not too bad. All right. So again, you can see my baseline is on one of the lines. You can see inside the green, my empty green dot, you can see where the angle or the corner is. So here's the 90 degree right there, or the angle I should say, not 90 degree. And this is what you're reading up here. Again, wherever your baseline is lined up, it's on 0. So that's where the line's pointing to, so that's what we're going to count. So we're going up along the protractor, and I get 70, 80. So this looks like, let's see if I can zoom in. It looks like there's 1, 2 dots short, so it looks like I'm 2 short of 90 degrees. So this angle right here that I measured, I'm going to call it 88 degrees. All right, moving along. So I'm going to flip my protractor around, get it on that baseline. So again, my protractor's on the baseline right here. I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to read this direction, so I want the numbers that are increasing, and I want to read that number right there. So I can see that there's 100, there's 110, and it depends on your protractor. Most of them go up by notches of 1, so you'll be able to read it. So according to this, I would say I am at 1, 2, say 105. So that angle in here is 105 degrees. And that little dot that's up above, that's the degree symbol for people who are wondering what I'm drawing that for. All right, and the last one here, we spin this thing right around, give you some vertigo as you're watching this video. All right, so here's my baseline. Now this time, the 0 is on the inside. I'm going to read the inside numbers because I'm going to use the numbers that are increasing from that line, and I want to read it to over here. So when I do that angle, I'm reading the inside numbers. So there's 130. So it looks like I'm about 2 short. So I'm going to say it's about 138 degrees. And we're going to be practicing this as you come and get a hand with it. All right. Not always the easiest task, especially if you haven't used them before. So it'll be a little bit frustrating off the start, but I promise that by the end of it, we'll have you a master of measuring angles. All right. We'll see you in a minute.